Hello everyone, our next session is geometry creation methods. I told you earlier ETAB is based on practical assumptions. So first we create the centerline plan of the architecture file, and as per centerline plan we create the grid lines in ETAB. So this is my AutoCAD file, this is my project, this is my basement plan, and this is my typical floor plan, and this is my center line plan. Here you can see I have the grid lines 1 to 8 in the X direction and A to F in the Y direction. So first we create this grid line on the E tab, and then we will do the other structural object on this grid lines. So first just open the E tab, create the new model and select the third one, options. So in my AutoCAD file I have the fit inches units, so here I'm selecting US customary options. Select the country section database, so this is my Indian, and then select the steel design code, so we follow the IS 800 and the concrete code is IS 456. Click on OK. When you will click OK, a dialog box will open in front of us. In this dialog box I have the two type of the parameters. First, grid dimension plan and story dimensions. So first you set the plan. Suppose if you have the same distance from first grid line to other, you use the first one options here, but I have the different distance between the grid lines, so select the custom grid spacing. And before, first we set the grid label. So suppose this is my X grid in my plan, this is X is 1, so this is 1 and Y is A. Okay, and first I'm just doing a small dialog box. Yes, this, and okay, now this is of 1 and this is of A. Okay, and go to the custom grid spacings and click on edit grid data, and in this data I have, in my plan I have the 1 to 8 grid lines. So first I will add the 4 one more, so click on add 8 grid lines. Similarly in the Y I have the 3, 4, 5, 6 grid lines, so I have only 4s. Here this is showing your preview of this grid lines. So when I will click add, you can check here I have one more grid line on my preview tab. Again click on add. Now select the grid spacing options. So my first spacing is from first to second is 13 feet 9 inches, so this is 13.9. Second one is the 13.9, so this is my 13.9. Third to fourth grid line is 15 feet of 9 inches, so third to fourth is 15.75, and 4 to 5 is 5 feet 5 inches, so this is 5.5, and 5 to 6 is 8 feet 4 inches, So 5 to 6 is, this is 8.3, and 6 to 7 is 13 feet 9 inches. So 6 to 7 is 13.75, and 7 to 8 is also 13 feet 9 inches. I have set all the spacing between the grid lines. Now this is my grid ID and this is my spacing visible. It means, suppose here you can see, I can easily see the first grid line. Suppose if you click on the no, so grid line is hidden, so click on the yes. And other is the bubble locations, where you want to set your bubble for your grid lines. So this is, suppose I'm selecting here start. So here you can see this is my start, shift to the start point. And suppose is I'm selecting here none, so I don't have the bubbles on the grid lines, so always select the end. Okay, similarly you set the Y grid lines spacing from by the help of Y grid data. So here A to B is 6 feet 1 inches, that is 6.08, and 4 to 5 B to C, this is 4 to 5, and C to D is 11 feet 3 inches, so this is 11.3, and D to E is 21 feet of 9 inches, so this is D to E is 21 feet of 9 inches. Now E to F is 6 feet 36 inches, so this is E to F is 6.675. Okay, so I set all the spacing of the Y. Now click on OK, and again you set the story dimensions. So suppose in this project I have the number of stories 4, and my bottom story height is suppose 10 feet, and above the bottom, that is my 12 feet, and select the grid only options. Okay, so when you will click OK, here you can see I have the grid lines as per my architecture plan. So this is my plan, where I have the different type of the grid lines in the X directions and in the Y directions. So I have set all the grid lines in the X and Y. Suppose if you want to add, and if you want to delete, and if you want to modify your grid line, you just first go to the edit and edit story and grid system. When you will click, a dialog box will open in front of us. So first set the grid system plan modifications. So select the modified grid systems, and here suppose if you want to delete this grid line, so select the 8 and click on the delete. So in the preview you can see I have only 7 grid lines. Similarly you can delete, you can modify your grid line spacing by the help of these options. So click on OK. Again you can modify your story height by the help of story data options. So first click on modify and show the stories. Now first you have defined the 4 stories. Suppose if you want to add two story more. So you just click on the right of the mouse and click on add story, and suppose this is my story. Okay, so here you can see I have the story 5, height is same 12 feet. This is my elevation height from the start to end. So suppose base to story 1 is the 10 feet, and story 1 to story height is 12. So 10 plus 12 is 22 feet, and similarly I have the height in the elevations. Next, master story. What is the master story? Suppose if I am saying I have the story number 4 is my master story, and I want to change only one story, and the reflection is come on the other story by making of the similar story options. So first you create one story to master story, and other story is your similar story. Suppose my story 4 is master story, and story number 3 is similar to the story 4, and this is 4. So when I will change in my object, in my project, to story number 4, all the changes will reflect to story 3, 2 and 1, because these are the similar to story number 4. So click on OK and OK. So basically this is, here you can see I have defined the 5 story. This is my base. This is story 1, story 2, story 3, story 5 and story 5. Now you can select this, you can create your object by the selecting of one stories, all stories and similar story options. So this is the process to create your grid lines, and you can modify your grid line in any other times.